Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Compact Claustrophobia. It's been a little bit since I was on here last, because the upload speeds have been abysmal, and I know I've mentioned it on the Discord probably forever ago, depending on how long this is going to take to get the issue resolved. But on the plus side, if you guys have been around the channel for very long, you know I've been having issues with upload speeds. It's Zeto Media, it's abysmal when it comes to upload speeds, and I've always had a lot of trouble with getting them to fix it. However, a internet provider that I've actually had experience with that actually gives the speeds that they promise is coming into my area. It's supposed to be here sometime February or March, is what they originally had said. So hopefully here soon it won't be an issue anymore. I'll have plenty speed. Plenty speed. But like with Zeto, they promise 5 meg up, which isn't great. Originally they had promised 10 meg up, but then they changed it to 5, which isn't great. It's definitely not ideal. But if I was getting that speed, I would be happy. Whenever I'm getting, I consider myself lucky if I'm getting 2 or 3 meg up. Usually with Zeto, it's 1, or it is as low, like right now, it's as low as 0.1 or lower. And the problem with that is, like, the last few days I've been having to wait for like 5 days to upload a video. Like, not even joking, like 5 days to upload a video. And then sometimes whenever it does upload, then I guess because the data was so sporadic as far as how it came in or something, YouTube can't process what it gets once it's finished. So it makes uploading a nightmare. But when the new provider comes, I'll be getting way more. And like I said, I've had them before. They always deliver the speeds that they promised. And I can either do 100 meg up or a gig up, or and a few in between. So I don't know which one I'll go with. I don't really think that I'm going to need a gig up, but I think 100 meg maybe would probably be great. But I may go with something a little bit bigger. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, I've been using that time very well, I think. I've been building a lot on Enigmatica. The next speed build for that, which I'm getting finished up at the moment of recording this, so I don't know if it'll be the next video I upload after this, whenever this happens to come up, but it's it's like 20 hours of speed build footage for that one video. It's crazy. But anyways, on to what we're going to be doing on here. Last episode, we set up this. We set up our fusion core, and we were running deuterium into it, and it was taking a little while. You'll notice I did upgrade these to DU voltaic piles, just so we could store a bit more. These do store 25.6 million RF, because we're starting to move into more power consumption and more power production with what we're going to be doing today. Of course, we do have these 2 reactors, but we're going to be making a bit more power with this. Though I think a lot of this will get used by the machines that are used to run it, but we'll be producing glowstone and stuff, so it's, it works out. But over here, I did expand this out. I'm actually running 3 electrolyzers per side, and each of these electrolyzers is filled up on energy upgrades and speed upgrades. Very, very costly, but once again, at this point, with these materials automated, it's not a big concern for us, and very easy to do. So these things, they do consume a little bit of energy. You'll notice they do consume 2600 RF per tick. So just right out the gate, we're already consuming about 15,000, a little bit more, to run this, like 10,000 or 15,600, I guess, just to run the system. Plus, we'll be using a little bit to process down the deuterium byproducts and stuff. So we're really not going to be generating a ton of RF from this, but we should be making up for what we're using of it. So it's not too bad, because bear in mind that these electromagnets do require energy as well. Combo that with the electrolyzers taking energy, we're not going to be producing that much. But I ran some cables down right here, and this is all set up basically the same as it was. And then all the deuterium is just pumped out into here. And you can see these are backed up on deuterium. And then Power comes down right here and feeds into voltaic piles because I wanted a buffer for this system. And then we're going to pump out this energy. I don't want it to feed directly up to the electromagnets. Instead, I want it to feed out into these voltaic piles and then get cycled back through, basically. And what this is going to do is this is going to create kind of a priority system where the reactors aren't going to worry about feeding out power unless it needs to. It's going to prioritize running this fusion core if it can. And that's so that we keep this running and keep producing the stuff that we're going to need for our glowstone. So what we're going to do, let's see. I've actually got a cable ran here. No, here. This is the one that I want to go to. It'll be on the bottom side. Right, and then we've got the one on the west. Yeah, this is going to be, these two are for the north and the up is for feeding the electromagnets, is the way that we have it set up. So that is the up, and then if we pop downstairs, so it's been a little bit, I can't remember how I had all this set up. And then this is going to be on the north side, and this is where, that's where we're going to run up power, basically just to feed into those electromagnets, just putting in a cable there. And so these are going to feed into the down side. So we'll go ahead and say down, and then we're just going to run our cables, oops, down, and run our cables like that. That way the voltaic piles can feed into these voltaic piles, and that way this energy is more like a backup energy as far as running the reactors. They will be running though, but that way it kind of prioritizes running this fusion core. And then let's see, I think that's everything as far as setting this up. We did most of it last episode, so but I think we're ready to actually just plug this up. The only reason we didn't last episode is because it was going to take a little while to build up deuterium. And I ended up expanding electrolyzers and all that, and yeah. I think 6 of these with full speed upgrades. Make sure that I got speed upgrades in all these. And it kind of works out too because like lapis and redstone, and quartz for that matter. I think quartz, I can't remember, but lapis and redstone I know were 2 of the materials that I had too much of, and I was having to put upgrades into those, so it actually helped making those. Let's see, and before we get started, actually, let me go ahead, let me pull off this for right now, just to make sure that we've got enough power, because when I've done the math, we're going to be pretty close. These are producing 12, 9, 20, and I think we're going to be consuming about almost 20,000, I think, to run this, so we're going to not have a ton of like extra space, and depending with this thing running, producing power, that's 1,000, and this stuff, yeah, we should be all right, I think, as long as the rest of that power is clipped off. So let's go ahead and we're going to run this down, and we're going to run this down. And you can see the temperature starting to jump up at this point, and our electromagnets are starting to build up on energy. Some of them aren't heated yet, so we've got to get energy going to them. There we go. Once they turn green, yeah, see, we're still kind of struggling. I don't know if I'm just not moving enough energy. We should be producing enough to run this. Oh, wow, it drained those voltaic piles quick. But now our temperature's starting to drop. I feel like this is consuming, well, oh, it's going into these is the problem. You can see these on the top have filled up really, really quick, so it's probably going to take a little while, realistically, for this to start running. Because it's going to have to fill up the buffers on all of these because it's not equally splitting out the energy. And that would be the reason, I think the biggest reason that it's having issues. We could either add more voltaic piles to deal with that. Oh, but you can see these down here I think are getting the majority of the energy, sitting at 200,000. So we may just have to wait a little bit for those to build up. We're going to be throwing away a lot of energy, but with our reactors, it's basically free energy anyway, so it's not a big deal. Yeah, I thought my storage was going to be, like, enough, but I don't think it's going to. Well, we'll see. These are starting to back up, and then as these back up, it's going to be sending all that energy elsewhere, so I think it's going to be all right for us. I've just got to let it run. Okay, so while that's running, whenever we start running this deuterium, and I can't remember, I don't think this one actually needs a redstone signal to run. I think it just needs power and fuel, maybe. We'll see. I think it has to heat up to like 8,000 to actually start producing. But once we start running this deuterium, optimal temperature is 1156. But we're going to be producing hydrogen, tritium, helium, and neutron fluid. Now, neutron fluid is what we're really after. The rest of this stuff's just kind of like, you know. But the neutron fluid, we definitely want that. So, hopefully this heats up. I mean, these are still fluctuating a little bit, but I think, yeah, these are building up. It's just going to take a little bit. Because it's having to fill the buffers with the leftover while still running this, which is the majority of our power that we're producing is going into running this. So, yeah, it is going to take just a little bit. But that's fine. That's fine. But we are going to need to make ourselves just a couple... Well, honestly, most of this fluid, I'm probably just going to trash it, because I really don't need the majority of it. And then let's go ahead and get ourselves a neutron or radiator, because this is what we're going to use that neutron fluid and some destabilized redstone to make our energized glowstone, which is what we're after. So we're going to go ahead and just make one of these. It's all pretty straightforward stuff. So there's our neutron or radiator, and we're going to complete that quest. We're also going to need a fluid transposer. There's our fluid transposer. And we're also going to want a glacial precipitator, and we're going to want a tome of knowledge. Okay, it looks like these up here are almost fully powered. And then, of course, the ones on the bottom will be fully powered. These buffers are just what's taking so long. And then it'll start working on the last two rings. So we're about halfway to full power. I underestimated a lot how much power we were going to need, but that's all right. Okay, so there's our tome of knowledge. All right, so we can go ahead and, just right-click and put all of our experience into there. We don't have that much. We have enough to make a little bit of glowstone, but not much. Okay, so our glacial precipitator, what we might do is set it up right over here. So you can feed water in. It's going to be making snowballs. Because we really just need this to make a little bit of cryothium. And honestly, I'm thinking that if we were to run this up, like so, feed that down, there we go. Now I can start making snowballs. And then we could always put a, let me actually turn it here. We could always put a drawer here or something if we want to. We'll see. Because we're actually fast approaching leaving, being able to make the bedrock pickaxe and being able to leave the kind of the compact world here. We're fast approaching that point. So, okay, so there's that. We're going to get quest complete for getting our snowballs. And now making pure blizz is our next step, and getting the cryothium, which all this we can do before we start delving into the glowstone. Alright, so let me pop out, let me check on this. I'm trying to keep an eye on it so we can kind of catch it about the time that it's going to be starting up here. Though it is taking a while, for sure. Okay, that's still filling up. Let's go ahead and do our blizz powder. This is just going to be fluid transposer with some liquid XP to do that. It's going to be 200. I've got enough to make like one. Like one craft is all I've got. Yeah, we're going to have to look into some liquid XP. Yeah, because it's going to require at least 2 blizz powder. Okay. Alright, so we're going to have to look at a way to get ourselves some experience. Right here is a way for the unexperienced. Pure blizz, blizz it. Okay, let me see. Oxygen gas. Oh-huh. And then we can pulverize it to get more than what we're using to make it. I like that. I like that method. Let's go with that, in fact. We're going to have to get some blizz powder to get started, though. We're going to have to get like 2. So I am going to need a little bit more experience. But that shouldn't be too difficult. What we're going to do, let's pop out Let's go to... We could either spawn some animals, or... And I can't recall if the nuclear furnace gives XP or not. It does. Okay, so this will probably be the fastest way, I guess. I really don't need this room anymore. I need to get rid of it. Okay, the nuclear furnace does give experience. It's going to take a little while, though. And right now I'm just I'm breaking wood and just smelting that. Trying to get some experience. We're getting there. I just don't have any experience. Like at all. And this is steadily filling up. It's just taking a little while. We'll get it there. So I'm going to continue working on getting some experience and letting that charge up. And then once we get it charged up and stuff, we'll be back. And once I have the experience to do this. So I'll be back here in just a bit. Okay, it's been a little bit, but you can hear... You might be able to hear. It's really, really low. There's a kind of a satisfying hum coming out of this. I'll be sure to turn up the game audio here so you can hear it. But there's a satisfying hum coming out of this, and we do have the required experience now. We have 407, so just enough. But if we take a look here, you can see it's running that deuterium, and it's creating hydrogen gas, tritium, helium-3, and neutron fluid. And we're going to go ahead and say void output overflow. Right? Yeah. Let's void output overflow so that if these fill up, they'll just get voided. It kicked off for a second. Honestly, it's probably one of those machines running. This took a while to fill up, by the way. And right now, you'll notice that if you take a look here, the efficiency right now is only 2.4%, 2.5%. You can see that as the temperature goes up, that efficiency is going up, and it's running a bit better. And you can see right here our energy stored. It's going up. It starts at like 1 RF per tick and it steadily goes up. Now right now we're not producing very much. But as that temperature goes up and as that efficiency goes up, it's going to start producing more and more power up to finally reaching the point that deuterium is, which is 50,700 RF per tick once it's fully built up. Now at this point, now that it's running, it's going to be hard for it to shut off too much. I think this is just machines kicking on, to be honest, because I think it's just whenever it runs something up there that causes that. But as this temperature goes up, we're going to have more power because the efficiency will go up and it'll be producing more power, better power. So what we're going to do now is, I've got a couple things here. I've got some fluid ducts. We're going to go ahead and we're going to pull out liquid from this. So we're just going to put on like a fluid duct here. And we are going to, let's see, can I, it's going to be hard to grab this with a bucket. Let's see. Let's put this here. Let's put a servo on it. We're going to shift clear these out. And then really, really quick, hopefully, yeah, we got neutron fluid in there. Okay, wonderful. So now what we're going to do is we are going to disable this. We're going to say it's a high redstone signal that it requires. We're going to break this off. Open this up. We're going to say whitelist. And you need neutron fluid for this servo. And then if we turn this back on, we should see it only pulling out neutron fluid, maybe? I wonder if it will pull out... Probably the best thing might be to just let this run for a bit and build up. It's going to void outputs there. Because we're not really doing anything with hydrogen, tritium, or helium. Don't have any plans for it at the moment. Let me see. I don't think there's anything we want these for. Tritium. That's just tritium lamp. Aside from making... Of course, we can make other chemicals with it, but we're not going to do that. We just need this basically just for making neutron fluid. So, tritium and deuterium it's good, but I would want a second fusion core, honestly, for that. And I don't have any plans to build another one of these, to be honest. I think one is plenty for me. Okay, so we're just going to let that build up until I can get a bucket. But you can see our efficiency is going up quite a bit. We're now producing 11,000 RF per tick, so that's quite a bit better. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I've got these just for doing that. Just to get this stuff out of our inventory here. It's going to take a while for it to build up that much neutron fluid, realistically, but... Okay, so we're going to turn our attention for right now over to the blizz powder, and I think at this point we're probably producing enough power that we can actually run other things now. I should think. We're producing 13,000, that's quite a bit. If we pop out... maybe not. I'd like to at least wait until these actually start getting some power in them. Yeah, you can see it's actually still pushing that a bit. The power production's still going up, so... But at the same time, right now, it's using power for this. I didn't think about that. It's using power to run this, so probably everything that's producing at the moment, that's going right back into the electrolyzers, because these are actually having to work at this point to produce that deuterium. You can see the buffers on the deuterium have gone away at this point. So all the other buffers, like down through here, are still filled, but the actual buffers in the machines are gone. Okay, well, anyways, I think that's going to be enough. Once this is powered up, I think this is going to be enough deuterium creation, though, to keep us running. But it's starting to break that threshold and actually move into positive power production, even though we're still consuming a lot with these, so I don't know. Okay, so what we're going to do, we need to make a couple blizz powder, and then we're only going to use this method just long enough to get ourselves to this blizz powder, and that's going to be the fluid transposer method. So let's just set this up. At this point we should be fine just to run it in here. So fluid transposer there, and then let's set this to empty mode. And we're going to set that in there, and we're going to go ahead and just drain all the XP out of this. Oops. Yeah, go ahead and start draining all that out. Oh, wait, that makes a lot more essence of knowledge than what we had experience. Okay, never mind. I didn't need as much as I thought I did. But if we set this now to feel, and we throw in our snowballs, this is going to start running. Yeah, machine's active. It's just going to take a while, it looks like, to get this made. But it's going to start making some blizz powder for us. I'm probably going to go ahead and just let it do all these snowballs. And maybe do these 16 also. And then we can get the other method up and going for the blizz rods. I'm going to go ahead and make a fluid infuser, though. Because then we can just electrolyze water, get oxygen, and then turn that into... And then just get rid of all the rest of the stuff. And then turn that into blizz rods. And just do a... kind of a cycle here. We're going to need basically a fluid infuser. We're going to need a, pulverizer, I think was the method that gives us 4. Yeah. So we'll need a pulverizer. We will need a fluid infuser, and then we will also need a electrolyzer. So let me get that stuff together real quick. There's our blizz powder. We should get a couple quests complete here. Pure blizz, and for the inexperienced, I think, right? There we go. Wait for the unexperienced, and then we're supposed to make blizz rods. Okay. How's this doing? Yeah, we're at 375. It looks like it is voiding correctly and leaving our neutron fluids. Perfect. Oh, but we're actually running out of deuterium. We're not producing enough deuterium. It's... Oh my gosh. Okay, that's great. I could build more. It only take... On the plus side, it only takes 10 neutron fluid to actually make a half bucket of energized glowstone. And a half bucket makes... Or 2 half buckets makes 4 glowstones, so... We'll see. I mean, all these are still kicking away, so it should toggle back on pretty quick. Of course, it's not splitting, so it's going to have to fill up this buffer and then it'll start running that. But then once it fills this back up, it should keep it running at a pretty decent rate. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to do it over here in the general machine shop, just because we're not actually going to need it that much, realistically. But let me grab an infinite water source for this. Yeah, just one of these. And let's go... Honestly, just the general machine shop would be fine for this. This is just going to be for our blizz rod system. So we're going to have a fluid infuser that sets, say, right here. And we're going to throw down this. And right above that, we're going to have a... Sorry, not the fluid infuser, the electrolyzer. That's going to start getting water. And that's going to allow it to break that down into... basically our oxygen and then all this other stuff. So let me go ahead and do the side configuration, just because I don't want to have to keep doing the Tome of Knowledge stuff, in all honesty. Then we're going to have a fluid infuser that sits right there. It's going to take a little while for this, but it's going to be kind of a passive system just to produce us some blizz powder and blizz rods and stuff. Okay, so that's made some oxygen. The hydrogen and stuff, that's going to be hydrogen deuterium. These first two. So what we're going to do is we're going to click here and we're going to say void all on that. And then this one here, we're going to say void all. So all it's going to be producing at this point is going to be that oxygen gas. Then we're going to have a fluid duct goes up here. It's going to pull out that oxygen gas. And it's going to feed it then up to our fluid infuser sitting right here. We're going to need a little bit more oxygen before this will work, but then once it gets it's 1,000 millibuckets, but then it's 2 blizz powder. We'll just throw that in there to help it get started. This is going to be kind of slow, but it's fine because then it can just run kind of passively. And then what we're going to do is just set up honestly item duct here would be great. Or, I'm sorry, item conduit. Let's see, pulsating iron. I think we can do this now. Yeah, I may actually already have some. Let me see. Actually, I think I do. It's just been a while since I was on here. Okay, no, I don't have any, but I've got the means to make it. And that way it's just less conduits that we have to run, less we have to mess with. We'll run that out. We'll set up our pulverizer here. We're going to say that you're going to insert from the right-hand side. And also output from the right-hand side. We'll do both through there. And we'll say that you can extract. It's going to be on the red channel, always active. You can insert on the green. You can extract on the green, and you can insert on the red. And it's as simple as that. And then that's going to keep this running. And we'll also have a cache set up, like, I don't know, here. And this cache will hold blizz powder. So we'll do that. And we'll set it as kind of a lower priority. So we'll say that you can insert on the green as a priority of 5. And no extract. You can see it's already pulled some blizz right over. Turn that into blizz powder. Send it back over. And then once that fills up, then it's going to start sending all of our blizz powder to here. I think there's a chance that this will produce snowballs, right? 50% chance. So what we'll do is I'll just put, I don't know, I'll set up another cache or something over here, you know, so that they can be sent over. That's fine. No problem in doing that. Also, let me pop over really quick, grab that, and I'm just going to put all the rest of this into our Tome of Knowledge. That way we get our XP back. So we used about half. We used about what we had at the start. So I really didn't have to farm more. That's okay. Yeah, temperature and efficiency on this is dropping off because we're not producing enough deuterium. So that may be a problem, but at the same time, we've honestly got enough neutron fluid already that we probably don't even have to run this anymore. So I might disconnect it at least long enough to let it fill back up on deuterium. And honestly, I'm probably going to move these voltaic piles over there to add more storage for our system, and just run this cabling on through, I think. Because I really don't think we need the storage here. We're not going to keep this thing running consistently enough, I don't think. So yeah, our efficiency's starting to bottom off at this point. So I think I'm just going to cut the power at this point. So we've got 835 neutron fluid. I definitely didn't need the upgrades for this portable tank whatsoever. That's fine. Okay, so let's head back over, and we'll just set up another cache. This one's going to hold snowballs. At the moment, we don't have any snowballs, so I'm just going to, for right now, I'm going to say the insert priority is going to be like -10, and you can insert. So once it makes a snowball, it'll automatically send it over here and start storing them into this. So that should be good for us. Drop that into there. Okay, so now at this point, to make our glowstone, we're pretty much there. We just need to make cryothium, which is snowball, redstone. All pretty straightforward. I'm going to go ahead and get enough to make... we'll go ahead and actually, since that's locked in, we'll go ahead and just do 10 blizz powder. And then we just need redstone. Okay, so cryothium... Just throw that into there. There's 10 of that. And then we need to fluid transposer, energized glowstone. Energized glowstone is going to be made in that neutron irradiator with that neutron fluid and some destabilized redstone. Oh, and we got a quest complete for cryothium. Well, actually, at this point, we can plug that back up. We've got power again. Over to our passive materials, and we'll just run this over. Oh, let me go grab my machine shop. We'll just take the melter back over to here. The melter we'll put down right there. That's just going to melt redstone for our destabilized redstone. And then that is going to, let's see, that all goes into the neutron irradiator, will be the next thing. So we'll have the neutron irradiator sitting here, I think. And then we'll just run our fluid ducts over, like so, and ignore. Okay, so it's going to start getting destabilized redstone, and then it's also going to be getting neutron fluid. So we got 835 in there, and then once this gets a little bit more destabilized redstone, let me get some speed upgrades for this, actually. For the melter, still only using 360. That's a little bit more reasonable with speed. There's 1,000. Okay. And we'll speed this up a little bit too. There we go. 980. Okay, so there's our first bit of energized glowstone, and we're also getting some molten potassium hydroxide. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to be used for anything within this pack, or... Let's see, molten potassium hydroxide. We can electrolyze it for potassium, water, oxygen, and we can chemical react it for ethylene and potassium fluoride solution. I don't think so. What I'm going to do for right now is we're going to say void excess on it, because that we're not all that concerned about. We're not producing that much of it anyways. So let's go ahead and grab a bucket of that energized glowstone. So there's that. And then this stuff, we just run it through the fluid transposer. We'll just do that, and there we go. There's our first bits of glowstone. Woo! That's been a process for sure. And then they want us to make endstone, which is lava, and some glowstone. Okay, that's easy. We're going to go ahead and just do that. but we're about to be wrapping up for this episode, I do believe. Okay, so we'll just use our lava bucket that's over here, and once this fills up, then we just right click, and there we go. The end is nigh. Okay, so we've got endstone now. Yay. And we could make faster lava here. We will at some point. It's not that big of a deal for us. Oh, and we do have to get a blizz rod. That's fine. I'll just... we're making them. I'm just not... I haven't actually handled them. Is the only thing. So at this point, now what we have to do is start pushing into the bigger rooms. The giant compact machines, which take... We're going to have to do the 3x3 method at the moment. Which means we're going to have to use our pressure poop injector a bit for this. Not that bad, but I think next episode we may automate something for making sewage and stuff. Alright, well, we'll get into that come next episode. This episode, I think we are at wrapping up point now. So we'll start diving into that. Looks like we've actually cleared off to where, I mean, this is pretty much what's stopping us from pushing on to the last little bit here, headed towards the bedrock breaker. We're going to have to make the high impact compactor. I don't know if we'll start it next episode or the episode after, but then shortly after that we'll be pushing on out of here with the bedrock breaker. Pushing on out of the compact world and getting into the actual world. So we'll finally be out of the compact machines, and then we get to start Galacticraft. I'm not terribly excited about that, but I do believe that's what's up next on our agenda. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. Once again, I am sorry about the slow uploads. It's out of my control really at this point until things get sorted with my ISP, because it's been rough. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys then.